Alright guys, so let's talk for a second about this idea of failure um, and what it means, some misconceptions, things like that. You just watched a video, cute little video. I thought it does a good job of really putting forth what I'd like this class to be about, right? Where we celebrate failure. When it's truly failure that we can learn from and move on from. Because if you think about it, most of the time you learn the most from failure than really truly successes. You don't really learn anything from a success or much of anything. Failures are where you truly learn. So when we look at failure, we talk about failing. It's an attempt at something, but it's not successful, right? So I'm going to talk about the protocol in this class, what happens when you fail. Or what happens, should I say, what happens when you need to redo something or retake a test or redo an assessment. There's a difference between that and what I'm going to talk about at the beginning of this, which is what are you going to do when you just plainly don't do work, okay? And that's what we're looking at here with this no work form. So certainly failures, I celebrate a failure when I see a huge attempt made that you can learn from, that you stand up from, and then you fix. And you learn from those mistakes, and you move on, as the video said, from those mistakes. Right? That's what we're going to celebrate in here. But when we do no work, again, there's consequences. So since I'm not taking points off in this class for you not doing work, for you doing work incorrectly, there has to be an accountability still there. And that's what I'm going to go over. So the first thing really doesn't have much to do with failure. It just has to do with you not doing work, which I would not consider failure. You didn't even attempt at anything with that, and that's with the no work form. I'm going to walk you through this process, and this is the process you're going to have to follow. Some of it will be mandatory, and then some of it will be elective, meaning you can do it if you want to have an opportunity at a reassessment. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is right up here on the screen in front of you, and this is the mandatory thing. And this is for when you don't turn something in on time. Okay, and this is really for worst case scenario. This is a sheet that if, again, something's due on Friday, a lot of times I'm going to bring you in. Okay, but I want to make sure you come in with a plan. Okay, so I want there to be some accountability there. So you'll fill out this form. There's going to be a stack of them over on the counter. All these forms you'll see here today, there's going to be stacks in certain parts of my room at all times, so you know exactly where you need to go to get them. So the no work form is if you don't turn anything in on the day that it's due. You'll grab one of these. I'll make you grab one of these. I'll make you fill it out. Your name, what class period you're in, the name of the assignment or the assessment that you did not turn in, and then you're going to explain why did you not turn it in on time. Now, sometimes you'll be able to come up with legitimate excuses, like, you know, had a death in the family, been not missed a lot of school lately, game late, you know, forgot. I want you to be honest. Okay, more than anything, I want you to be honest here. When you're telling me why you don't have it done. I know that life happens, and that's kind of why I have this idea of not taking any points off, because I know that life happens, and again, I don't want to penalize you with your grade. So you're going to tell me why, and then most importantly, what are you going to do to ensure that it gets turned in on time? Not on time, but what are you going to do to ensure it gets turned in? Okay, most of the time, you're probably going to say, I'm going to come in during the lunch and learn with JC to get this done. Okay, now if it's something that we can get done and made up right away, you barely had anything left to do, then sometimes we'll be able to skip this form. But if it's more of a large-scale project that there's no way you can finish it in 5 minutes, yes, you will need to fill this out. Now, you see at the bottom it says student signature and parent signature. For your first offense, you will not need a parent signature. Okay, so the first time you do this, because I know everybody, you know, messes up once, so I'm willing to kind of let it slide the first time. Still want there to be accountability in filling out the form, but you just need to sign it before you turn it in. Okay? If it's becoming a routine for you to turn things in late, then we're going to go to the parental signature. Okay, so you kind of have the one strike rule where just you. After that, I need a parental signature, and this is a 24-hour form. So from the time it's due, I need it back within 24 hours, or again there will be consequences. Probably something taken away, like your lunch and learn, your free period, whatever. So again, you don't always have to get this signed by a parent, but if it's a recurring issue where you've done it more than once, then yes, you have to take it home that night and get it signed. And really the consequence, if you don't get it signed that night, then I call a parent meeting and pull your parents in. So I always feel that it's better for you to show this to your parents, so you can kind of explain your side of the story and just have them sign it. Because if they get brought in, then we dig much deeper into the issue, which is something that you probably would not want. Okay, so this is your no work form, and you will just turn those in the bin. The bin's in the back. Find your period number, turn it in. Okay, so not a big deal there. The next thing is a test retake. So if we take an actual traditional style test, excuse me, and you fail it, or you fail a section, because our tests are going to be split up into different targets or sections. So like one section might be, let's say I am doing a memorization quiz, and I'm having you, the target is student is able to identify 7 vocab terms from the Reconstruction chapter. Okay, that would be one. Then the next section might be important people and aspects. Student can identify 12. So if you missed one of those sections, you put that target up here. Okay, your full name, then your target. You don't have to retake the whole test, just the part of the test that you failed. Okay, right? Which one you're doing, what's your first attempt score. Out of that 4-point scale, what'd you get? Probably a 1 or a 2. You're going to tell me why you failed that part of the test. Okay, and again, more than anything, I want honesty here. Didn't study. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, that's honest. Most of you, that's going to be the reason. If it's a memorization thing, you just didn't study. Okay, whatever there. Then list the activities you've done to prepare and attach evidence. So this is a big one. I do not allow you to retake unless you've proven to me that you have studied. Okay, and you're going to have to prove to me by not only writing it here, here's what I did, but I'm going to need to see some proof. So maybe if you played, a review game online, then you want to print out your scores to show me that. But this is a big one. I do not allow students to retake unless they've proven, because I used to just let students retake whenever they wanted, however many times they want, and I found that that takes up a lot of my time, and really a lot of student time and a lot of lunches. So for accountability reasons, you need to prove to me that you're ready, that you have tested, or you practiced for what's going to be on the test. Okay, so again, there will be a bin on this one, and you must turn this in, and then we will schedule your retake. Okay, we'll schedule your retake after you turn this in. So you'll have a very limited amount of time to turn it in. Most of these you have a 24-hour window to turn in, and then we meet one-on-one and schedule your retake date. And the next one, this is probably the one you're going to see the most, because again, I don't plan on doing, we will do traditional style tests. We'll throw some memorization here and there, more review. There'll be more quizzes than big tests, but this is what you're going to see the most. This is whenever we do projects, writing assignments, you're going to have those a lot. Okay, and for all of those, you're going to have skills that you're assessed on. Can you write without making a lot of conventional errors? So spelling, grammar, that's a skill. Can you support a claim? Right. So can you choose one side or the other on a topic and then provide support? Can you carry out research in an authentic way? Right. So can you do actual research and then put it in your own words? So there's a lot of skills there that you will be assessed on. So in this one, you put your name. On this side, you put your period number, skill you're redoing, or skills if it's multiple things you didn't pass, and then explain how you improved the original work. This is very important for me because it can be very time consuming to go back through and try and guess, I guess, where you fixed. So this is going to be where you explain to me specifically here is exactly what I fixed. Here's where I messed up in the beginning, and here's how I fixed it. Here's where I fixed it. So then I can just go directly to that spot. And then explain where you believe you are now. Or, you know, if you had a 1 before, you might say I'm a 3 now, or I'm a 4 now, and here's why. Okay, and this is important right here. You are trying to convince me that you have moved up on the scale, that you have went essentially from failing to passing. Okay, so if I don't get a good explanation as to why you think that, odds are you're not going to get there. Because if you can't even come up with an explanation, then it's probably going to be hard for me to come up with a reason why. Okay, so you are going to attach this to your old rubric, the one that I handed you with an original score. You staple the two, plus the revisions, and you turn those in the bin. Okay, that's how that works. Alright, so this doesn't need to be obviously turned in before you actually do it. It's not like the test. Alright, so these are your 3 forms. All of these will have a spot on my counter in the back. Well, by the windows, I should say. They'll be labeled for you. Some of them will be mandatory, some of them not. But the important thing here is that you will not be penalized grade-wise. You'll never be taken off points for having something turned in late. But there will be accountability of you filling out these forms to do things over again, okay? And to have some accountability as to maybe why you didn't turn things in, and to have to come up with a plan as to how you are, okay? So if you have any questions at any point, feel free to come talk to me, to come see me if you have any concerns. If you're having a hard time understanding any of this, just give me a shout.